welcome to the Dragon's Tome. Um, my name is Jack, with my compatriots here, Chopper and Rob. And let me tell you what we do here. We're going through Dragon Magazine issue by issue, one after the other, from number one to number 265. We do a couple of
Just stop
articles. We
randomly.
talk a little. We chat a bit, and then we dip out. Let you get on with your day. So, boys, we are in July 1989.
89. You wish.
89.
84.
What? We are in July,
Cut it.
um,
I was
and
I was gonna say July 84 is good times. Was that Live Aid? Was Live Aid in?
Was it Live 8? No. Well, yeah, I think so.
It was in the summer of '84, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to tell with
maybe
Bob. It's hard to tell with Bob Geldof.
it was maybe Hands Across America. Maybe it
It was
was
all about the same
Farm
time.
Aid.
No,
Could have been
Maybe
Farm
it
Aid.
was.
Farm Aid was later, I think.
Okay, well, we are going to keep this one tight. I'm in charge. We're going to make sure this is in and out. We had a dream at one point, nice half hour, quick, make it efficient. So
I was a
let's.
year ahead. Live Aid is 85, not 84.
Oh,
July though, I was right in the month, but wrong year. Sorry, Jack, about being efficient.
about non sequiturs, yes. So what do you lads think about this cover?
Jack
Lad,
Crane.
lad's a good word to use because there's a fancy lad right there.
Jack Crane. We've seen Jack Crane stuff before. I'm not a fan usually, but this is pretty fancy.
There's a lot going on here. That's all I know.
Or those tiger lilies? Is that?
Yeah, I can't tell if some of these are flowers or some of these are actual creatures.
I think I called it an acid trip, but I think it must be in the some of those Fey realm maybe. Is there
I
Fey
don't know.
realm around?
I have to think this is all plants though. They're just being attacked by the jungle.
That's right. It's a Fey realm where all plants are crazy.
If only there was an article in which we could read about these various snapdragons and tiger lilies and all
We'll never
manner
know.
of
We'll never know.
spoofed.
I think the fancy lad is very ill armed. He's only got one dagger. He should have two daggers.
He looks more. He looks more upset too.
Yeah, he should be swinging around like a lawnmower right about now.
Well, maybe he's the NPC that has hired the two fighters as bodyguards because he's a botanist.
Who's the
And
guy
he's
up
just
in the
gonna-
air? There's another fighter in the air too, or
He
something.
was just going to take a cutting, and I thought that was a woman.
I think
I think it's a woman too.
I think the fancy lad is a gas because he doesn't know where the maceman's pants went.
He don't need no stinking pants.
I think he's got some just dark brown breeches.
He does now.
But
After he
anyways.
saw the plants come alive.
Yes, he's getting his morning star on. Okay, people. So why don't we start? We're gonna do two articles and one ad, and I think who's
Two
wearing
articles.
red?
Oh, two articles.
Pat, Mr. Lewis, look
Yes,
at you.
sir.
You're gaming the system now? Canonically, since the first episode, if you're wearing red, you go first. So
I don't remember that, but I just need you to know that all I have are red T-shirts.
that is not true. You have your black one that says "titties and beer." You've got that. You've got that one with the unicorn, and he's a dollop of rainbow feces to make a ice cream cone.
That's true.
But anyways, oh yeah, and the Gundam Hawaiian shirt. Let's go. What's your first
Robotech.
article?
It's a
All
robot.
right, we're gonna go to page 10.
Is there a difference between Gundam and Robotech?
Jack, we're not even gonna go.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. Just
They're just Japanimation, right? Like it's
Japanimation.
just the
So-
same thing.
my article's on page 10.
Okay, that's one of the two articles in the whole magazine. So let's go to page 10, shall we?
By our friend Catherine Kerr. I wasn't sure if one of you guys were going to pick this, but I read this thing,
It's very long.
and it's a fairly long article about non-dungeon adventuring.
None.
It's so long that it's continued in the next issue.
Right. It is How to Cope Part 1.
And as I was reading this, I was saying to myself, if I wasn't an experienced player, if I was me, maybe reading it 2 years prior to this year, like in '82, this article would have been nice. But as of now, it's kind of the current way everyone games now. So there's nothing
Yeah, I think it's
surprising
not
this
like
article.
it's not like you're just in dungeons anymore like it was early days. Like
Yeah,
people have ventured out into forests. And the Wilderness Guide isn't out yet, but it's coming.
I mean, I think even '84 we were already kind of doing stuff like
Oh yeah,
that.
I think once the '80s
Uh,
came after the '70s.
so I just not much to this article if you're an experienced gamer, and it is so long that I was thinking, even as an experienced gamer, some of this is just kind of intuitive.
S- Right, and like we said, Catherine here, she's the tip of the spear in what is now the average gaming experience. Dungeons are a small part of the game now, um, but like she brings up some things about how light
You
is
mean
going to be
now is
different
then, right?
now is
Not the
then.
now or the then now.
Much like my work of fiction, the history of the past is the future now. Um, it's a long title, but it gets the point across. Yes, yes, it's all timey wimey.
The now.
So yeah, I mean, again, when it really boils down to it, if we weren't playing the way we play now, this would be a good article.
Yes,
I
If
mean,
this
I
came out
just
in 1979, this would have been like, wow, this is really important.
yeah, I just probably most of this would be groundbreaking at this point. I think.
But by 1984, nah.
it's
Some nice
definitely not.
pictures.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it as I was reading too. You know, even in the D&D set, not AD&D, the D&D set, the very basic set, Keep in the Borderlands, that was very, very minimally outdoors. It was only outdoors just to get you to the quote unquote keep.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Oh yeah.
right.
Most early adventures, but by now you have what's that? There's quite a few modules that are out in the wilderness and stuff at this point.
Yeah, pretty
So,
much almost all of them.
um, yeah,
Or they're
I
not,
I found even
or they're in a haunted house where you fall through the floors.
well, that's just you.
Yep.
But
No, no, that's someone else who did that.
but I was gonna say, oh yeah, even by the time the Wilderness Guide comes out, I think that's long past, or Dungeoneer's Guide. Both of those are like
Oh
real
yeah,
supplementary. I don't know if anybody actually knew who owned them because it was just like you don't need them.
I did. Yeah, I did not have
I
either one
still
of
do.
those.
Yeah, but you're fools.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was also one of my articles. So, very
We're down to
efficient.
one article each.
Very efficient. So Rob, why don't you? What's
well,
yours
well,
first?
you're supposed to go to me first because Dragon Rumbles this month is oh wait, it's not called Dragon Rumbles anymore, but it is an editor letter, and it's Kim Mohan responding to a letter that somebody sent that they're wondering what the status with Tolkien Enterprise is, and heard a rumor they filed claim against TSR and all this stuff. And Kim responds like, "What? I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this." But in actual fact, I looked it up. Tolkien Enterprises, who own the movie rights and the merch rights to Tolkien, not the actual books, did settle out of court over the use of certain words in D&D, such as Hobbit, which turned to Halfling, Ents to Treants, and Balrog to Balors. But that all happened in like 1979. Like it was really early. So to Kim just not to say, hey, yeah, that happened like 5 years ago. Like
Ancient history, water under the
instead he
bridge.
pretends it never happened, which I think is odd. Maybe it's part of the settlement that they can't say anything
Well,
about it.
I think what it is, I think the guy's asking about all the advertisements in the magazine,
Yeah,
and he makes the point that the advertisement were paid for by Iron Crown
yeah,
Enterprises.
and they own the rights to Tolkien role playing games.
Yeah,
It's got nothing to
But
do
he,
with the
yeah. So
Tolkien
I don't know why
Enterprise.
someone thought that because Dragon Magazine runs an ad that they are
Well, it
liable
was
for
a
that.
stupid question, but it was a stupid answer. That's my thing.
the question was, "Hey, I see this. It's a bit odd, but I've heard this rumor. Are they connected?" And Kim says, "That's crazy talk. Never heard anything about it."
Yeah, Dragon Magazine has no status with Tolkien Enterprises, and I don't
Which
understand why anyone would ask something that's never existed. It's like what?
which wasn't true. And honestly, at the end, he's we've mentioned that he could be a bit sassy. And at the end, he's like, and if you do have a question that is worthy, don't be afraid not to ask it. But the guy just asked a question.
Yeah, I summed it up by saying this: the Kim wrote this whole letter or the editor page just to say, "Stop asking stupid questions. We won't answer."
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the letter editor's letter. What do you even call this? Masthead? What do you call this thing? It used to be Dragon's Rumble. It used to have a name. Now it's nothing.
It's probably just got to be.
Editor's section.
Well, their description just says letters and answers.
No, that's letters and answers. Is the actual? That's the actual. Out on a limb.
That's out on a limb. Yeah.
This is nothing. This is nothing.
Yeah, it's
then
kind of an
then it would just have to
editorial,
default. It just gonna have to default to editorial.
Editorial. There you go. So
Yeah.
there you go. That was my editorial annoyance.
And
with
that
Kim
is why we
Mohan's.
have halflings.
That's right. Instead of hobbits.
Okie dokie. I am going to take us to page 5.
Oh,
if
it's a
you
long
don't
way.
mind.
I couldn't find it. I got lost.
And
I
we're going to do
I actually got lost. I went backwards.
curing mistakes.
Curing mistakes. Ah, there
Yes.
it is. Yes.
We had, and we discussed the article that Kim had written about curing, and even at the time, I was like, well, some of that stuff doesn't work. It doesn't need to be that long. It turns out that he had read incorrectly some things, and he just goes about saying that his interpretation on some stuff is the way it should be, and some stuff would be more intuitive if it was the way he wrote it. But in the end, he does admit that he was confused by how cures would happen if you were dead as
Yeah.
opposed to
Or not
at
dead. Minus hit points. Yeah.
yeah, like and so I only bring it up obviously because Kim Mohan needs to be put in his place. No, I bring it up because when we did play till -10, and it wasn't until years later I was like, is that a house rule? Where did that come from? I just remember we always did it, but I don't remember ever seeing it in the rules and going, okay, this is this, and this is how it would affect things. So what say ye?
I think it was in
rules?
DMGs. I think it was in the rules because
It's clearly in the rules, but I just remember playing
You
it.
assume that it wasn't. I never read the rules as a kid, so I just did what everybody else did. So
yeah,
it never even occurred to me to think
I
that it
remember
wasn't in
being
the rules.
I remember being in the rules, but then we house ruled it because we thought sometimes -10 wasn't enough. So we house ruled it, or we thought it was a little too generic. So we house ruled it to the level of your constitution. That's how much negative you can go.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So if you were sickly, you couldn't be as negative as long as a guy who was a little more stout.
That actually it makes more sense.
Yeah. So that's how we house ruled it. And
Okay.
The D&D general rule is like death won't take you until -10 hit points. He refuses to even talk to you until then. It's got nothing to do with your constitution. It's just a thing he does, or she.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Clearly, it was a rule. I just always thought, it sounds
I never
so
thought that much into
harsh
it.
to die at zeros.
Yeah.
Someone must have said you go down to minus, and I don't know if it was in the original D&D or advanced.
I don't think so.
D&D.
I think it was
it's
AD&D.
in the it's AD&D.
I think
you died in D&D. I think that's
Yeah.
one of the things.
I agree.
The big difference is that you just died.
It was a lot
Okay.
more harsh. Yeah,
Well-
I believe so. We're not
Perfect.
experts here. If we're wrong, please comment below.
Yes, obviously, our frame of reference is now 40 years old.
Yeah, and
so
And we refuse to look things up because it's you only get 5e stuff when you look stuff up. But
Yeah, and it's been a while, and that rule has been morphed into so many different house
Right.
rules
Different
slash
games too, like
re-editions, and different games do
yeah,
different. It's
Pathfinder
really easy
or
to get that
yeah.
crossed over. So I do remember -10 being a thing, and I remember reading it in the DMG's guide. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's why I'm sticking with that.
Definitely in first edition AD&D it is a thing, and I think second edition because that's pretty much what we played. So
Right. And I was only asking as for your recollections, not
you're asking me about
the
recollections,
clinical.
Jack? Come on.
Yeah, well,
I don't remember
yeah, yeah.
last week.
Between your faulty memory and Pat's having played every game under the sun, I figured between the two
It's
we'd be
true.
able to get a
That's my problem. I have too much knowledge.
snowledge.
Snowledge.
Knowledge.
It's so good at
And
snowledge.
Your
Rob doesn't have
snowledge tastes
any
like snozzles.
knowledge.
I have snowledge. It's just I've forgotten more than I've known.
No, well, that's probably true for everyone, but that's neither here nor there. That's a little esoteric. Um, okay, well then that brings us back to young Patrick. What do you have for your
All
article?
right. Well, we're going to go back to biology, and we're going to go to page 20
Well, at least you have another
20.
article.
because I'm going to pick these until they stop coming.
That's what she said.
Yeah, yeah, she did because this, especially because it's the ecology of the dryad
Sexy woodland nymphs.
by Mr. Sean Wilson. This was a nice little story. It starts, comes out like a classroom. The guy's teaching them, and actually one of the girls being a dryad in the classroom, but no one knows. But it kind of goes through.
Spoilers.
Well,
Haven't all the other ecologies been by Ed Greenwood?
not all of them. There's
Oh,
been a
okay.
few different ones. Uh,
I never paid attention. I just
yeah, it does it. It does a nice job of explaining why all dryads are female. They're all related to satyrs and other things because I guess a satyr is I can't even remember how they reproduced. But they do come out of trees, and then something happens when they come out of trees that makes them become male or female. If they become female, they become dryads. If they become male, they become satyrs.
it all makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, and they don't. And then the thing is, in most of the stories, you have dryads living in trees. In this thing, they have them not living in trees, but actually melding and becoming part of the tree
Yeah,
as a way.
I always assumed dryads were trees.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, if you taking the magical aspects out of it, I think it's more satisfying if they just become a part of the tree, not that they're like Keebler elves and they go into
yeah, into a
They
chocolate
live.
factory.
They live in a
into
tree.
yeah make small
Ooh,
cookies in
I think gummy bears would be a better example.
but do dryads are they bouncing here and there?
And everywhere.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah. They also it gives notes on they can't be taken very like 36 feet away from their oaks or they
Ooh, that's not
start
very
to
far.
die. No, it's not.
That's a shitty way to live. Poor dryads.
And they basically um they basically charm men just because they like to keep them around as pets. Like pets, make
Not
them do
quite
things for
the
them.
Greek myth version of a dryad, but that's all
No, but they just like to make them do things for them.
right. I could make a sexist remark and say that's all
You
women,
could.
but
You could, but this is well again. Yes, because they give like some examples of things like what they get men to do for them, like drive away people or fix things.
Well, Rob, you know we have to give equal representation now. So to make up for your slight, you have to say that again in French.
no.
Oh wait, that's not how that works.
So, so this is just a nice little ecology again, nice little story.
And
Kind of
this one
opens up.
wasn't bad. I liked
No, not at all.
it. Yeah.
So
Don't catch them; they'll catch you. It sounds
that's
like
right.
cooties.
It's like a Pokemon.
No, that's got to catch
Okay.
them all. You're going back to me, right, Jack?
Yes, I am. And let's see. Where are you going?
He's done. Are you done, Jack? Because I have one more.
I can. Let's go to page 40. We'll just say. Uh,
40?
yep.
Okay.
I wasn't going to talk about this because I don't really have much to say, but I have nothing else, so I might as well go for it. It's a game review for Joe Haldeman. Forever War was a famous book. They did a board game based on it, and this guy tears into it because he says it's so generic and has nothing to do with Forever War. And it sounds like it has absolutely nothing to do with Forever War other than it has the name. Because the whole point of Forever War was about like time dilation, and the whole point, that was the book was very into space travel and serious sci-fi. And this this board game has nothing to do with any of that. So it's like a he says it's kind of like squad leader, so it makes no sense. So
No, actually, I just read that line. He says it's for a game, it's not outstanding, but it's not bad. A beer and pretzel shoot 'em up rather than the detailed but abstracted approach a la Squad Leader.
yeah, but it sounds to me that this is the beginning. I remember there was tons of licensed games which were just terrible and just slapped.
Oh, that's Milton Bradley. Every game that Milton Bradley put out in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, so I don't think I don't know who made this one. Does it say? Mayfair. Mayfair is usually a quality, but I don't know this one. It sounds like yeah, it was just a generic game that they just got the license to Forever War and put it on there, which is unfortunate because it could make for a really good game.
Maybe it's a translation issue. Maybe there's only so much you could do. I don't know, but it was a couple magazines ago that they said that they weren't going to do reviews that said specific things like this is the best or this is the we didn't cover it, but I remember reading it. And then I got to this magazine, nary a handful later, and this guy, all the reviews in this are scathing. There's not one that I didn't go, oh, little harsh, don't you think?
Yeah.
So I guess they've given up on the
but it also could be
not being
quality of what you're getting too. It's good to have reviews and.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that was my last minute edition, just because I thought it was interesting. I'll just smack my mic a bit more.
Okay, then it's back to me, and I think you've left me this on purpose. I have to do it. I will sweep the dung that is the end of the parade. Let's go to page 33.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know either.
Oh, the whole point of the cover. Yes.
The whole point of the cover.
I must have missed this because I didn't even read this.
Oh, you didn't understand when Jack was saying, "Hey, it's not like it's in this magazine," describing the cover?
No, I didn't. I must have rolled right over this thing.
It's pages.
Where it has every single page of all these monsters that are flowers.
How did you miss this?
Oh, that's why I didn't read it, because I thought it was another plant thing.
It is another plant thing.
It is another plant thing.
But you know what I mean? I thought it was going to be like one of those ecology things.
What it is a giant, what do they call it? Pun. It's just a pun article. Every plant is named after an animal, so it has animal attributes.
And it's got the twee kind of... when Rob said, hey, is that got to be in the Fey realm? I was like, oh, yeah, that's where it would shine. But at the time I'm reading it,
I don't think the Fey realm exists at this point, so
I'm just thinking, okay, well, yeah, a butterfly bush,
a dandelion, get it? A dandelion,
foxglove,
snake vines. Oh my god!
And I appreciate the art and the thing with it. It reads to me more of a April Fool's edition to the magazine. Like if you pretended
it's not serious, yeah.
Well, it sounds like this. It sounds like this picture was made in memorandum of somebody.
Well, Jack Crane is the artist, and he wrote this article too. So he's probably just like, I have this funny idea.
Well, it says here this article on the company at work are dedicated to Steve Arnold.
Well, there you
go. Gail and Buffy. I don't know who Gail and Buffy are.
I don't know either. But if you want to some lighthearted and a sensible chuckle, this is like a horticultural pun book.
Yeah, I wonder if Steve Arnold is a famous like guy who did these kind of drawings or something, maybe. Like like a
Mm-hmm.
artiste who did funny drawings of these things, and now he's put stats on them or something.
Oh, like if uh you okay, buddy?
No, choking.
Oh no. Like if remember those Getty pictures of the babies
Yeah, yeah,
on things
that's
like
what I was
that?
thinking.
Well,
Yep.
say she passed away and you were a fan and you had made this article, you would okay dedicated to someone who inspired your work.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm not going to look it up,
I'm trying to
but
look it up, but that's such a generic name.
Well, maybe someone can tell us.
There was a
Or
yeah,
Satanist guy whose name is Steve Arnold. I wonder if it was him. He was a protege of Salvador Dali.
the guys who watch our videos are very good at letting us know who these guys are
It
and
actually
if
might
they're
be him.
are alive or dead.
Oh no, he was alive into the late '80s, so he's not dead.
Yeah.
Okay, not same guy.
perfect. Okay, so that's my article. Um, we're going to move on to the ads.
What Pat might
Now,
have more articles.
I got one more.
hmm, rules is rules, and yeah,
You're gonna find the rule on page 73, though.
no, we're going to find an ad.
Oh, I knew you'd talk about Star Frontiers.
On page
Oh,
73 is
The lunatics are running the asylum now, Jack.
is the Star Law, and by Jack, you are violating the Star Law, according to the Star Frontiers Interstellar Police.
And it's all
So
about the Star Law.
yeah, all right, I bring this up only because, again, unlike like Jake says, I'm playing a plethora of games at this point. I'm knee deep
Did he
into
call you
role
Jake?
playing. No, I said Jack.
I think he
yeah.
said Jake.
Mm-mm. But what I liked about this article, and we're gonna go quickly because I can see that Jack is very angry.
No, when I read this, my big takeaway was they call themselves Starfleet in this. You'd think they'd have a little
Do they
that
call
someone
themselves
else would have,
Starfleet?
No, Star Law.
but the Star Law are the police department of Starfleet
Yes,
in the
the
Star Frontiers
pan-galactic,
world, and I
pan-galactic.
would have thought someone else, a young Eugene Roddenberry, would have had something to say about that. But anyways, go on.
Uh,
Let's hear it.
what I
If
liked
if
about articles,
if Wizards of the Coast owned it, they'd have sued them. But luckily, it
there it
was
is.
only
Uh,
Desilu Studios wasn't litigious.
this article gave you a more in-depth look at the police force in the Star Frontiers world. So it was better when this article came out that you can actually put together a really good police squad force to go against your party with them. And
Oh, you're always on the bad side of the law, aren't you?
well, listen, if you're gonna be traipsing around breaking the law like Jack likes to do, lighting
Breaking the
ships on
law.
fire.
Breaking the law.
Uh,
Lighting ships on fire. But
yeah.
that wasn't a starship. That was a regular ship.
Well, might well have been Spelljammer for all you know.
Oh, I hope
So
not.
yeah,
God,
they just give you a. And I remember in the rulebook they just give you a brief. What's you do about the
yeah,
the police force? They don't give you a lot to go with, but this goes a little bit more in depth and.
that's cool.
Uh,
That's what this magazine is good at, is doing that kind of thing,
Yeah.
which we haven't seen much of yet, really. It's expanding on things that are in the core rulebooks. A little bit, I guess. D&D, obviously, there's been a lot of expansion, but other games we don't see much of this, so it's nice.
yeah, I mean we've gone through article about a lot of articles, you know, and we argued that those NPC classes weren't really PC classes.
Yeah, like I say, but for other games, I'm saying.
Yeah. So, but that's it. That's real quick, real good. If you played Star Frontiers, this is a good little article on expanding your police force.
Well, that's good, and I would have remembered my star being jammed if that was in fact the case. Well, thank you for that ad, Rob. What about yours? What's your ad?
I do have an ad. It's on page 94.
How many ads do you got, Rob?
1.
Oh no.
This is my ad because I had these books, some of them at least. It's the sometime around that there was a thing called Choose Your Own Adventure, and then that was all copyrighted up. So D&D had their own version. It was called Endless Quest books.
I do remember this.
So it's pretty much choose your own adventures, but you're not allowed to use that term. Or
But I think they allow you to make a character to run through those books.
I'm not sure if the D&D ones did. I know
I think they did.
Steve Jackson ones did for sure. I remember that, but I'm not sure if the I can't remember if the Endless Quest ones did.
I think you rolled up
These
very
didn't.
very minimal character. You don't think so?
I don't
No,
think it's
'cause
these
I've-
ones. Yeah,
You know. Next time we go to Geneva, we'll find out because they have.
because these ones are just. It's literally it says pick a path adventure. Like it's definitely just a.
And
choose
I've
your own
already
adventure.
shown you guys that I own the third one up in that series. That's the Pillars of Pentagon, and I know I had the first one somewhere.
Yeah,
I
I had a
remember
few
the
of these.
pillars. I remember the pillars of Pentagon.
So yes, I know that they were just a choose your own adventure within the
I think-
Dragon.
Yeah, they definitely I know the Steve Jackson ones definitely were the British Steve Jackson. He you had a character in those ones. I forget what they're called. We already talked about those, I think. But these ones, yeah, it was pure, and they're real thin. Like they're not very big books. I remember getting them in like grade school.
They were a regular sized book. They were
No.
pretty wordy. It just with all the paths, you could get through it really quick because of just you're eliminating one of three, one of three, one of three.
They weren't big books like real books.
If I knew you were going to bring it up, I'd have scampered over and grabbed mine again and showed
And I would've
everyone exactly how
found-
many pages.
Yeah, it probably doesn't. It doesn't even say how many pages in these things, but anyways, there's a picture of them up there. It's a nice ad too. It's a nice full color ad. But I just
Yes.
remember having these, and I just thought it was funny because there was a whole thing about choose your own adventure, and there's I think maybe Toy Galaxy might have done a video about it, and it's a very interesting story. And this is like everybody once they became popular, everybody jumped on the bandwagon and pretty much left the guy who made it originally, like his idea, left him in the dust. He probably died destitute. So, anyways,
Jeez. On that note,
speaking of litigious, I think he was pretty litigious about other people using choose your own adventure. So,
oh,
but I think eventually, this is all like hearsay because I can barely remember this, but I think a big company like Random House or something bought him out, and then he tried to do it himself, and then as a different name. So it was a whole thing. Look it up. Toy Galaxy, choose your own adventure.
It's all news to me.
But anyways, this is the TSR version. Fun stuff.
Okay.
Brings me back to my childhood.
Then it is my turn for my ad, and I'm going to ask you to follow me along to page 27.
White Dwarf.
Again, with the White Dwarf. Now, I know you guys aren't a fan. Well, Rob vocally and Pat through the way he scowled at the cover of the magazine that we're currently looking at. Although I think maybe that's because he didn't understand there was an article related to it. But look at the covers on White Dwarf. A very polished, like if you saw that, that's a high end.
Yeah, that's way better quality. Even the magazine itself, I had a few White Dwarfs back in the day, and even the magazine was all glossy, and it was real.
well, it's
real
edited
nice.
by Eden Livingston, the co-author of The Warlock of Firetop Mountain.
That's right. It's Ian Livingston did those books too. He did a bunch of those Choose Your Own Adventure books. But yeah, obviously this is before it became all about Warhammer. This is
Yes.
probably the
Yeah,
beginning
this
of
is
Warhammer.
this is when it's still role playing because
Yeah.
if you look at the departments, Fiend Factory, the creature feature, treasure chest, a magical miscellany,
Yeah.
microview, computer gaming news. Does this sound familiar yet?
And of course, our own comic character, Gobbledygook and Thrud the Barbarian.
I'm interested in all of those things. Give me more. We know what happens to the magazine. We know what happens to the company and with the game itself.
Goes nowhere.
But
Just
that's a
goes.
gorgeous.
It doesn't exist to this day. It doesn't.
That's
It isn't continuing. Luckily, we're
That is
not doing White Dwarf magazines issue by issue.
Well,
We'd
what I
be in
can tell you
trouble.
right now, it doesn't exist in America anymore.
Well, it's not physical. I don't think anymore. I think it's all digital. So
No, I think you can still buy the magazines. They still sell them in stores.
do they? I know it's digital is like the big thing they're doing now. So.
Really? Really, I thought that was going the way the comic books have basically. You don't get a floppy anymore. You go and
Oh, you can still get floppies.
you can, but can you?
Yeah, yeah. It's called go to a comic shop.
Okay, it's not the way it used to be when you go in and grab
No,
yourself a
wow.
Snickers and go, oh look, there's a spin
Snickers.
the rack
Oh,
and
I think you go into like I barely ever go into convenience stores, but when they do have a magazine rack, which is rare nowadays, that there is comic books on them usually because
Yeah.
I've seen them.
I always look for the comic books next to my Easy Rider.
Yeah, that's right.
yes, when you go to your truck stops, you just peruse that top shelf, and one of the magazines is called Top Shelf, ironically enough. So, anyways, that was my ad. So I think that's good for us. That's our
Pat
ads
never
and
got to
our.
do an ad.
I never got to do that.
He did. He did an ad for Star Frontiers where he
No, I
talked
didn't.
about Starfleet.
We're taking over. Here we go. This is where the coup starts.
I told you I prefer the term junta.
This is where the junta
okay.
starts.
I will.
You can only trodden on the tan people for so long.
I will bequeath upon the one boon
Okay.
as my boon companion.
2 boons coming right up.
You give him a boon, he takes 2.
I just got booned.
Page 69.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna be, is it?
Oh, Dragon Riders of Pern. Once again, another book by Mayfair Games again, just
That's
slapping
right.
names onto games.
You know what the sad thing is I had this game.
Did it play like
barely-
the book?
I barely remember anything about this game. But then when my sister got pregnant, my parents decided it was okay to sell everything they had and move out to California to be with the grandchild. This game disappeared.
No, it got sold.
Who knows where it went?
Yeah, I wonder if it's Mayfair Games again. So I wonder if that guy is gonna buy it and then rip this game apart too, because it's not
Well,
nothing like
all
the
I
book.
know is I'm going to try and look for it because
Because you have a hoard and you have to fill it. You have
I
you have
do.
a hole in your heart that needs to be filled by old games.
Yep.
listen,
Yep.
I do remember the books, Dragon Riders of Pern.
I do love the books, and I think the game was fun. Because if I didn't think it was fun, I don't think I'd want to get it.
Come on.
Well, yeah, honestly,
Fun
I've
at the
only
time.
gotten
You might have been like at the time you thought it was fun. Now you'd be like, oh my god, why did I ever think this was fun?
that's true.
Well, honestly, Rob fills his void with charity work. I fill mine with alcohol. You fill yours with old games from your childhood.
That's what I fill mine with.
It's not not going to hurt anyone.
I
As
do
long as it's
remember
above 9.
that was one of the few games that I had that more than 4 players could play it.
Mm. Yeah, that's at the time that's super rare. So yeah.
Yeah. So,
Chicago, Illinois. Mayfair Games is from. Wow, that ominous was so heavy I hurt my shoulder lifting it.
all right, and then we will just knock this last one out. Let's go to page 88.
Just like Back to the Future.
I
This
let
is
the
part of his
record show I
contract.
tried.
No,
I
this is part of his
tried.
contract, Jack. If there's Star Trek in the magazine, he has to talk about it. So
That's right. And
This-
it's the 2-page
it's an
ad
exception.
on the top.
It's an exception. So.
All I'm just going to point out is that this is Star Trek FASA, and then it is every ship and all their expansions start for Star Trek. And the revolution started. Can you hear that?
Is it fireworks?
Yeah.
Damn, Americans always blowing things up.
Yeah, we are
I wish this
recording
was
on Guy Fawkes Day, so to
Guy
our
Fawkes Day.
American
Canada
listeners,
Day, obviously.
enjoy.
I wish
enjoy,
the picture was better so you could see all the expansions. Like
And
all
you
the
wish
ship
you had all
expansions.
this, right?
I have some of it already.
It is a lot.
I have the Klingon battle cruisers, so when you played Star Trek role playing game, you could have the control panels. Part of the thing is that you could simulate ship combat with the control panels, and you have to allocate power and all that other stuff, which I thought was pretty cool at the time.
That's your kind of jam, though. You love that kind of gaming, video games like
Yeah.
that. That's your thing.
Yeah.
Micromanagement. You like micromanagement. I like macro management.
You like point and shoot,
Point and click.
point and click. You go there, do something, done.
I don't care what you're doing. Just go over there.
Ooh, turn-based tactics type game. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
All
Well,
right.
I'm rocking Diablo 4 right now.
Are you actually
It's
playing?
really good. Oh, it's
No,
Are
fantastic.
you able to get it to go on your
he
I
computer?
doesn't have Diablo 4 because he knows that you want him to have it. He doesn't definitely have it.
Well, I already got it. So,
I know, but you wanted to play with him. But Jack,
well, I've since replaced Jack with Martin.
oh,
no.
another
I'm
silver-haired devil.
I'm supposed to be the silver fox in your life.
Well, this guy's English, and he's got the game.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
okay.
Jack. It is Martin.
Well, then that's it. No more ads for you. You're done.
Oh, okay, I'm done.
You're done.
I refuse to give any more ads now.
Okay. Well, lads, I think we've accomplished what we set out to do. We've visited July of 1984. We've looked. We've talked. Anyone have anything to share? Anything to plug before we scamper on out of here?
Oh,
No.
you were talking about Gundams and stuff. You should go to another YouTube channel that's really good with real handsome guys called Mobile Armor Radio.
And you will learn the difference between a mobile Gundam, a mobile suit Gundam, and a Robotech.
Robotech. It's called a Robotech too. We're experts on giant stuffy robots. But yes, we're with our other friend Brian Novak, our favorite third accompaniment to our band of brothers.
He's your unicorn. So perfect, Pat. Anything?
Negative.
Okay. Well, I'm part of a show
You're
called.
not. Oh, I was gonna say. I thought you. I'm part of a cult, and I'd like you to join.
Well, I was just going to pretend that I was doing a plug for this show, but I guess me being
It
part
is
of
a cult.
It is a cult.
yeah, it's kind of apropos.
This is the one ad cult.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I think we'll bid our faithful friends adieu. We will see you next week for another episode of.
Did you rub your eye?
Magazine.
Cause it's like Mary Taylor. No, it wasn't Mary Taylor. No, it was
Carol Burnett.
Carol
used to
Burnett.
put
Yeah,
your-
yeah. Did you just do rub your eye for the same reason, Jack?
No.
I thought you were
when
a
I
little shut out.
I've clenched my teeth so hard in rage over the rule breaking that
You're
I'm
actually getting
starting to
your
tear
eyes
up.
hurting.
Yeah. So
Lucky you're not in charge
Anyways.
next time. You get to relax next episode.
yeah, who's in charge next week?
It'll be me.
The guy would look at the wearing a Mantic shirt. Who would wear a Mantic shirt?
Someone who doesn't have any clean shirts.
Uh,
Oh yeah, we got two people wearing Mantic shirts.
Jack, you're wearing a Mantic shirt.
I'm wearing my Mantic boxers.
Nice.
The splat is inappropriately placed, and I think I need to.
Somehow they were supposed to be on the front, but they got put on the back.
Yeah.
It's actually booty shorts, so we didn't. Why are we still here?
I don't know.
Okay, let's get out of here. Bye bye.
Bye.
Adios.